The trade station called Hub floated in the shadow of a dying red star. The air inside always smelled faintly of oil and heated metal, a sign that the station's systems had been running far longer than they were ever designed to. Milo, a young human engineer, was busy tightening a stubborn bolt on the hull of a small cargo ship in the repair bay. His hands were greasy, his shirt was smudged with black stains, and he was focused on making the machine purr again. For him, the days here were simple: fix broken ships, earn enough credits for rent, and avoid getting caught in station politics. That day felt no different until the bay doors slid open and a figure stepped inside. She moved with quiet confidence, her boots making a faint sound on the metal floor. Her skin had a faint copper tone, her hair was short and dark, and her most striking feature was behind her, a long tail that glowed with soft orange light, like molten metal trapped in motion. It swayed slowly, leaving a faint shimmer in the air. Milo froze for half a second, staring before he caught himself. He had seen hundreds of species pass through Hub, but never one like her. "You work here?" she asked, her voice steady. "Yes," Milo replied, standing and wiping his hands on a cloth. "Name's Milo. What do you need fixed?" "My ship," she said simply. "It took some damage. The cooling systems are unstable. If they fail, the whole thing will shut down." "Can you handle that?" "I can take a look," Milo said. "What's your name?" "Vera," she answered. Then she studied him for a moment, as if deciding whether to say more. She didn't. Before they could speak further, a loud crash echoed through the hangar. Milo turned his head and saw two alien crews arguing near the cargo lifts. One group was tall, thin, and gray-skinned, wearing heavy coats. The other group was shorter and stockier, with pale blue skin and thick arms. Their voices rose quickly, and within seconds, one of them shoved another. A fight broke out. Metal tools clattered to the floor as workers backed away. Milo cursed under his breath and stepped to the side. He had no interest in getting caught between angry merchants. Vera, however, didn't move. She stood in the open space, tail slowly swaying, eyes fixed on the brawl. The fight grew louder. A crate split open, spilling strange fruit onto the deck. Someone drew a weapon that buzzed with dangerous energy. Milo took a step forward, ready to pull a panel off the wall to trigger the bay's emergency alarm. But Vera raised one hand slightly, as if to say, "Wait." The tall alien aimed his weapon at the shorter one. In that instant, Vera's tail flicked sharply through the air. A wave of heat swept through the hangar. Milo felt it hit his face, not enough to burn, but enough to make the air shimmer and twist. The weapon in the alien's hand began to glow red and hiss. He yelped, dropping it to the floor. The other fighters stepped back in shock, staring at the suddenly hot metal beneath their boots. Within seconds, the brawl ended. No one spoke. The crews gathered their scattered cargo and left the bay without another word. The heat faded as quickly as it had come. Milo turned to Vera. "You did that?" Her tail gave another slow sway. "Yes, you could have stopped them at the start," Milo said, still a little breathless from what he had seen. "Why wait until it got that bad?" Vera tilted her head slightly. "Sometimes people reveal more about themselves when they think no one will stop them. Now I know who they are and how far they will go." Milo frowned. "That's one way to look at it." She didn't respond. Instead, she walked toward a sleek, oddly shaped ship at the far end of the bay. Its hull was smooth, curved like flowing water, but streaked with burn marks. "This is mine," she said. "It needs repairs, and you will need to follow my instructions." "Exactly. My ship is different from human craft. Some of its systems will not respond to you." Milo followed her, still curious about the strange heat trick he had witnessed. "That thing you did back there, is it dangerous?" "It can be," Vera said simply, "but it is also useful." Milo worked for another hour inspecting the exterior, noting the unusual alloy that made up the hull. Every tool he used felt slightly warmer than normal when it touched the surface, as if the ship itself carried heat in its skin. When he stepped inside the craft for the first time, he noticed panels that seemed to pulse faintly with light whenever Vera walked past. When he tried touching them, nothing happened. But when Vera laid her hand on the same panel, it came alive. Lines of orange light racing across the surface. "Ship likes you better than me," Milo muttered. "It knows me," Vera replied. "It does not know you yet," her words sounded. Strange to Milo, ships didn't know anyone, at least, not the ones he had worked on. The day stretched on, and by the time the artificial lights dimmed to simulate night, Milo had made a list of parts the ship needed. Vera took the list, glanced at it, and said she would get them by morning dot as she left. Milo couldn't help but watch her tail again. The way it moved wasn't random. It almost felt alive. Reacting to her thoughts, the faint glow reminded him of heated metal, the kind he had seen in smelters on mining worlds when she was gone. Milo locked up the bay and leaned against the wall. He had worked here for years, and strange visitors were nothing new. But Vera was different. The way she carried herself, the way she stopped the fight without breaking a sweat, and the way her ship seemed to breathe when she touched it. All of it made him feel like he had just stepped into a story he didn't fully understand. He didn't know if that was good or bad, but one thing was clear. Vera wasn't just another traveler passing through Raxon Hub. She had power, she knew it, and she had no fear of using it. Morning came slowly on Raxon Hub. The station's artificial lights brightened in gradual steps, casting pale gold light through the repair bay. Milo was already at work, laying tools on the bench and checking his repair plans for Vera's ship. He still wasn't sure if working for her was going to bring him trouble. But something about her had caught his attention in a way he couldn't shake. He heard footsteps. Before the bay doors slid open, Vera entered, carrying a small container. Under one arm, her glowing tail swayed lightly behind her. The warmth in the air seemed to rise a little as she stepped inside. "I brought the parts," she said, placing the container on the bench. Milo opened it and saw the replacement cooling cores he had listed, along with a few components he didn't recognize. "These aren't from any supplier on the station," he said. "They are not from this station at all," Vera replied. "Some parts of my ship are not built here. They need special materials." He wanted to ask more, but her steady gaze made him change the subject. Instead, they worked side by side, installing the cooling cores into the ship's inner systems. Milo noticed something strange. Every time Vera touched the machinery, the temperature seemed to rise just slightly, enough for metal to become more flexible and easier to work with. "Your tail," Milo said finally. "Is it just for show, or does it help you work?" Vera paused, tightening a bolt before answering. "It is not decoration. It is a part of me, like your arm is a part of you. It connects to something inside my body that controls heat. My people are born with it." "Heat control," Milo repeated. "That's what you used yesterday in the hangar." "Yes," she said. "We can increase or reduce heat in the space around us. It is not just for fighting. It can fix machines, melt metal, or warm a room in cold weather. But most people fear it because they think it can only destroy." Milo leaned back, wiping sweat from his forehead. "I can see why. You could turn a whole battle around in seconds. That is why many fear us," Vera said quietly. "It is why there are not many of my kind left." Her words carried weight, but she didn't explain further. As the day went on, rumors began to spread through the station. Milo heard a pair of mechanics whispering that a heat bearer had arrived. The words were spoken with both awe and worry. By midday, a group of station guards appeared in the bay, pretending to check the repair permits. Milo noticed their eyes moving between Vera and her ship more than they looked at the papers. "Routine inspection," one guard said flatly. "We keep track of special visitors." Vera stood still, her expression calm. "Then you will have no trouble remembering me," she said. Her tail flicked once, and though the temperature didn't visibly change, Milo thought the guard stepped back just slightly. They left without further questions. But Milo could see they were not done watching. When the bay was quiet again, he turned to Vera. "They are afraid of you. They are curious first, afraid second," Vera replied. "That is the right order. Fear alone is dangerous. Curiosity can be useful." Later that evening, as Milo checked the ship's external plating, he noticed the air was warmer than it should have been. The station's climate systems were steady, so the change could only be coming from Vera's ship. He followed the heat trail inside and found Vera in the cockpit, sitting with her eyes closed. Her tail glowing brighter than before. Lines of orange light moved along the panels around her, as if the ship itself was alive. "What are you doing?" Milo asked, testing. She said without opening her eyes, "Your station's air is cold. My ship needs to adjust, and I wanted to see how close you can be to me before you start to feel uncomfortable." Milo frowned. "Why would you need to know that?" "Because you are helping me," she said. "If you could not handle the heat, you could not stay near me in danger." Her words were calm, but Milo couldn't help thinking there was more behind them. He decided not to press her yet when she finished. The glow in her tail dimmed and the heat in the room faded. She looked at him for a moment, as if measuring something in her mind. "You are steady," she said finally. "Most people take a step back without knowing why. You did not." "I grew up working near engine cores," Milo said. "A little heat doesn't scare me." "Good," Vera replied. "We will need that." Her tone made it sound like she already knew they would face something dangerous. That night, Milo walked back to his small cabin in the lower levels of the station. The air there was cooler, and the hum of the old life support vents filled the silence. He tried to rest, but his thoughts kept returning to Vera's words, to the heat in the cockpit, and to the way she had ended the fight without fear. Vera was more than just a traveler with a broken ship. She was something rare, something powerful, and she seemed to be testing him as much as he was learning about her. Milo didn't know where this path was leading, but he had the strange feeling that Raxon Hub would not stay quiet for long. The next day on Raxon Hub began like many others, with the station's long metal corridors filled with the hum of machinery and the low murmur of traders making deals. Milo was halfway through checking Vera's cooling system when he noticed a shadow fall over him. A tall man with a narrow face and dark coat stood near the workbench. His eyes moved quickly over the ship before settling on Milo. "You are the one fixing this craft?" The man asked. "Yeah," Milo replied cautiously. "And you are?" "Name is Bran. I deal in special goods," the man said in a low voice. "And I pay well for special information." Milo straightened slowly, wiping his hands on a cloth. "What kind of information?" Bran's gaze shifted toward Vera's ship. "That one inside. She is not ordinary. I hear she is a heat bearer. I want to know the layout of her ship, its systems, and what powers it in return. I will pay you more than you make in a month." Milo's grip on the cloth tightened. "Not interested." Bran's smile was thin and slow. "Think about it. People like her do not stay in one place long. This chance will not come again." Before Milo could reply, Bran stepped back and blended into the movement of workers in the bay. Disappearing as quickly as he had appeared, Milo felt a prickle on the back of his neck. He knew what Bran was after, not just parts or technology, but control over Vera herself, and that was trouble he wanted no part of. Inside the ship, Vera was seated at a control panel, scanning through streams of alien text. She looked up as Milo entered. "Who was he?" she asked. Milo was not surprised she had seen someone offering to pay me for details about your ship. I told him no. Vera's expression didn't change, but her tail moved in a slow, deliberate curve. "Did you believe he would ask others?" "Probably," Milo admitted. "And I think some of them will say yes." Vera stood and walked toward him. "Then you must decide how far you will stand with me. People like Bran want what I can do, not who I am. That makes them dangerous." Before Milo could answer, an alarm rang through the station. The lights flickered, and the deep rumble of the power generators faded for a moment before returning at half strength. Vera's eyes narrowed. "This is not an accident. Someone is forcing me to move." "How? Do you know?" Milo asked. "Because the power failure is only in this section of the station. The rest is untouched," Vera said. "That means someone wants me to feel unsafe here." Milo moved toward the wall console to check the local systems, but Vera stopped him. "Leave it. I already know who is doing this." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "We will meet them, but we will not meet them as they expect. They believe they can command me. Instead, they will believe you command me." Milo blinked. "What?" Why would they think that? Because humans are seen as unpredictable. They will think I stay here because you tell me to, Vera said. It will give us an advantage. Milo hesitated. That's a dangerous game. It is the only one worth playing, Vera said calmly. A short time later, a station messenger arrived with a formal summons from Governor Tarna, the political head of Raxon Hub. Her note was brief. Come to the governor's office at once. Bring your human companion. Vera's tail flicked once as she read it. She makes her move quickly. Good. They walked through the upper levels of the station, passing guards who watched them with quiet interest. The governor's office was large but sparsely decorated, with a wide window showing the red star outside. Tarna stood behind her desk, a sharp-eyed woman with silver-streaked hair. I hear you have been causing a stir in my station, Tarna said, her gaze on Vera before shifting to Milo. And I hear you are with her. Milo stayed calm. She is under my watch. Her ship needed repairs. Tarna raised an eyebrow. Under your watch? That would make you responsible for her actions. That's right, Milo said, feeling Vera's silent presence beside him. Tarna leaned forward. I can protect her. People like her attract trouble. If she works for me, I can keep her safe. But if she refuses, the station's security will make things difficult. Milo kept his voice steady. She goes where I tell her. If I say she stays, she stays. If I say she leaves, she leaves. You do not need to deal with her directly. The governor studied him for a long moment, then gave a small nod. Then make sure she does not cause problems. And remember, protection can be withdrawn as easily as it is given. As they left the office, Vera walked in silence until they were far from the guards. Then she turned to Milo. You played your part well, she said quietly. That felt like more than just acting, Milo replied. Tarna believes I control you. That is what I wanted her to believe, Vera said. Now she will focus on you instead of me. It gives me space to move without her eyes always on me. Milo shook his head. Feels like you're setting me up for something big. Vera's mouth curved slightly, though not into a full smile. Perhaps I am. You will see soon enough. That night, Milo dreamed of orange light twisting around him like flowing metal, warm but not burning, moving as if it had a mind of its own. When he woke, he wondered if it had been a dream at all. The station's upper decks were quieter at night. The wide halls that were busy during the day now echoed with only the hum of power lines and the occasional footstep of a guard. Milo walked beside Vera, both of them silent, their minds on the meeting with Governor Tarna earlier. Milo still felt the weight of her words, the way she had spoken as if she owned the station, offering protection and making threats in the same breath. And now Tarna believed he was the one who held Vera's leash. That thought made him uneasy. They stopped by a wide observation deck. Through the thick glass, the dying red star burned slowly, its light filling the room in a dull orange glow. Vera stood close to the glass, her tail reflecting the same light as it swayed behind her. You wanted her to think I'm in charge of you, Milo said at last. Double quotes, yes. Vera replied without turning. Now she will focus on you. It will distract her from my real purpose. And what is that? Milo asked. Her eyes met his, but she didn't answer. Instead, she said, sometimes, letting someone believe they hold the chain makes them less likely to see when you slip free of it. Milo gave a short laugh. So who's really holding it? That depends on who has the clearer plan, Vera said. They returned to the repair bay, where the dim lights gave the ship an almost sleeping look. Milo checked the systems again, though there was little left to do until a few final parts arrived. Vera moved quietly through the space, as if she was listening for something. Hours passed before a sound broke the stillness, the soft click of the bay door unlocking. Milo spun toward it, but Vera was already watching. The door opened and a man stepped inside, flanked by two others. It was Bran. I heard you met the governor, Bran said with a thin smile. She is not the only one interested in your friend here. Milo stepped forward. You were told before. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not here to buy, Bran said. I'm here to warn you. The governor will not keep her word. She will want full control over Vera, and when she sees she does not have it, she will act. Why tell me this? Milo asked. Because I have my own plans, Bran said. And her plans get in my way. If you are smart, you will work with me instead. I can take her off the station before Tarna makes her move. Milo looked at Vera. She was calm, her tail giving a slow flick. And where would you take her? Somewhere her talents are worth more than her danger, Bran said. She would be safe. And you could have a share of the profit, Vera spoke for the first time. What you call safety, I call a cage. Bran's smile faded. Sometimes a cage keeps you alive. Sometimes, Vera said, it keeps you from ever living. Bran's jaw tightened. He looked at Milo one last time, then turned and left without another word. When the door closed, Milo let out a breath. Seems like everyone wants you for their own reasons. Yes, Vera said. That is why I cannot let them think they can have me. The next day, Governor Tarna sent for Milo again. He was taken to her office alone this time. She sat behind her desk, studying a report on her screen. She is not easy to keep in one place, Tarna said without looking up. And you seem to think you can manage her. I can't, Milo said evenly. Good, Tarna replied. Because if she does anything that brings trouble to my station, I will hold you responsible. Milo kept his voice steady. Understood. Tarna leaned back in her chair. Let me be clear. I don't care what she is, but I know she could be useful. That means she stays here. And she works for me, one way or another. When Milo left her office, he found Vera waiting in the hall. She wanted to make sure you understood her terms. Vera said, she thinks she's the one holding the chain. Milo said quietly, let her think it. Vera replied, the more certain she is, the less she will see when we act. That night in the bay, Vera worked on her ship alone. Milo watched from a distance, noticing how the panels glowed under her touch. He wondered how much of her power was in that tail and how much was in her mind. She turned to him. Suddenly, when the time comes, you will need to choose whether to stand with me or step aside. If you step aside, you will be safe. If you stand with me, you will not. Milo met her gaze. I'm already in this. I'm not stepping aside. For the first time, she gave him a full smile, though it was brief. Then you will see the truth soon enough, somewhere deep in the station. A low alarm sounded, not loud enough for public notice, but enough for the repair bay's walls to give a faint vibration. Vera's head turned toward the sound. They are moving sooner than I expected, she said. Good. I prefer it this way. Milo felt the heat in the air rise just slightly as she walked past him toward her ship. He knew that whatever was coming, it was no longer about repairs or safety. Something was about to change, and it would not be small. The alarm faded into the background hum of the station, but Milo could still feel the faint vibration under his boots. It was the kind of sound that meant something had happened deep in the lower decks. Away from public eyes, Vera stood in the center of the repair bay, her tail glowing faintly, her eyes sharp. They are coming, she said. Who? Milo asked. Not the governor. Bran, Vera replied. He wants my ship, and tonight he will try. Milo stepped toward her. We should lock the bay. Vera shook her head. No, we will let him in. That sounds like a terrible idea, Milo said. It is a trap, Vera explained calmly. One we will set for him. He believes taking the ship will give him power. I will let him take part of it. That part will lead me to where I need to go. Milo frowned. So you're going to let him win? I'm going to let him think he has, Vera said. There is a difference. They didn't have to wait long. Less than an hour later, the bay doors slid open. Bran entered with 5 men. Each carried a weapon, though none were raised. You should have taken my offer, Bran said to Milo. Now I'll just take what I want. You're not touching her ship, Milo said, stepping between Bran and Vera. Bran's smile was quick and cold. You don't have the strength to stop me. Before Milo could move, Vera stepped forward. Her tail flicked sharply, and the temperature in the bay rose at once. The air shimmered. Metal groaned, and the nearest weapon bent in the middle with a hiss. Bran's men staggered back, dropping their guns. Sweat appeared on their faces as the heat pressed against them. But Vera didn't aim to drive them away. Instead, She stepped aside from her ship's side panel and let Bran see an open compartment. Inside was a small but intricate piece of alien machinery, glowing faintly. "This is the power coil," Varys said. "You want it? Take it." Bran hesitated. "Why would you hand this over?" "Because you will take it to your buyer," Varys said. Her voice even, "and I will follow it." Bran glanced at his men, then back at Varys. "You're either arrogant or foolish. I am neither." Varys said, "You will learn which." Bran pulled the coil free. The glow faded slightly, but Varys made no move to stop him. He and his men backed toward the door. "Next time we meet," Bran said, "I will own the rest of your ship." "Next time we meet," Varys replied, "you will not be smiling." They left quickly, carrying the coil. When the bay doors closed, Milo turned to Varys. "That was the thing that makes your ship work, wasn't it?" "No," Varys said. "It looks important, but it is only a part of a larger system. My ship can run without it, and I placed something inside it that will let me find it anywhere." Milo raised an eyebrow. "A tracker." "Yes," Varys said. "And when Bran takes it to his buyer, we will find out who has been waiting for me." Milo thought about this. "You could have just followed him without giving him anything." "No," Varys said. "If I follow him empty-handed, he will be cautious. If he believes he has already won, he will move faster and reveal his allies." It made sense. But Milo still didn't like it. "You're gambling." "I am choosing the path with the highest chance of success," Varys corrected. They spent the next hour preparing the ship for a quick launch. Varys adjusted the navigation systems while Milo checked fuel lines and secured the cargo hold. The bay felt hotter than usual, as if Varys' focus alone raised the temperature. "Once we find Bran." "Then what?" Milo asked. "Then we find the real target," Varys said, "and we make sure they never try again." The tracker signal came through sooner than Milo expected. A small orange dot appeared on the display, moving away from the station toward the outer asteroid belt. "Ready?" Varys asked. "Not really," Milo said, tightening his harness in the co-pilot's seat. "But I guess that doesn't matter." The ship lifted from the bay with a smooth hum. Outside, the station's lights faded into the distance, replaced by the wide black of space and the dim glow of the red star behind them. The tracker signal pulsed steady, leading them toward a cluster of dark asteroids. As they drew closer, Milo saw faint lights among the rocks. A hidden station or base built into the shadows. "That's where he's going," Varys said. "And that's where we will end this." Milo's hand rested on the controls. "If this turns into a fight, we're outnumbered." "We are," Varys said. "But numbers are not everything." Her tail glowed brighter, casting long shadows across the cockpit. The heat in the cabin rose until Milo could feel it through his boots. "I will give them one chance to leave," Varys said. "If they refuse, then the heat will rise until they have no choice." Milo had seen what she could do in the hangar. Fight, but now he understood that had only been a fraction of her power. Here, in space, with no one else to hold her back, she was ready to unleash everything. The signal led them to the largest asteroid in the cluster. The base was built into the rock, with heavy doors sealing the hangar. Bran's ship was just slipping inside. "Once we're in, we won't have much time," Milo said. "That is fine," Varys replied. "I only need a moment." She guided the ship closer, her tail flicking once as if marking the start of what was to come. The asteroid loomed larger in the view screen. Varys kept the ship's lights off as they drifted toward the hidden base. The only illumination came from the faint glow of her tail and the soft orange dot of the tracker pulsing on the console. "They will have guards," Milo said quietly. "They will have more than guards," Varys replied. "But they will not expect me." The base's outer doors began to close behind Bran's ship. Varys pressed the thrusters gently, slipping inside before the gates could seal. The hangar smelled faintly of burnt metal, even through the ships. Filters. Milo peered through the cockpit window. "Looks like a mix of ships here. Smugglers. Maybe mercenaries. They work for whoever pays most," Varys said. "The buyer is rich enough to hire all of them." They stepped down from the ship's ramp. The hangar's lights were dim, but Varys' glowing tail painted the floor in shifting shades of gold and red. Several armed men stood at the far end, but none stepped forward. Instead, Bran appeared from a side door, the power coil still in his hands. "You are bold," Bran said. "Following me here. I told you we would meet again," Vera replied. Bran smirked. "And now you'll meet the one who owns me, and soon, you." From the shadowed doorway, a tall figure emerged. His coat was deep green, lined with silver, and a small crystal hung from his neck. His face was thin, his eyes bright and cold. "Milo," Vera said softly. "This is Rax. You know him?" Milo asked. "I know his kind," Vera answered. "Collectors. They buy what they cannot create. They steal what they cannot buy." Rax smiled faintly. "I collect rare things, ships, relics, creatures. You, Vera, are rare." "I am not for sale," Vera said firmly. "You are wrong," Rax said. "Everything has a price. Your ship, your technology, your heat. I could sell your abilities to every warlord in this sector." Vera's tail flicked once. The air warmed. "You will not." Rax stepped closer. "Do you know why I sent Bran after you? Because your kind vanished. I don't know if any others like you remain. That makes you the last. The last is always worth the most." Milo's hands clenched. "You sent all those attacks on us? Just for a trophy, for profit," Rax corrected, "and for the pleasure of owning something unique." Vera's voice was steady. "You think you are in control. You are not," Rax laughed quietly. "And you think you can stop me here?" "Yes," Vera said. The heat in the hangar rose fast. Metal underfoot warmed, and distant pipes groaned. Bran's men shifted uncomfortably, sweat beading on their faces. The air shimmered between Vera and Rax. "I can melt this whole bay," Vera said. "Every weapon will fail. Every engine will seize. You will be trapped inside your own walls. You would destroy yourself as well," Rax said, though his smile was less certain now. "I would survive," Vera said. "You would not." Rax's eyes narrowed. "You bluff." Vera stepped forward. The deck plates glowed faintly where her boots touched. The guards fell back. Bran swallowed hard and took a step away from her. "I do not bluff," Vera said. "But I offer you a choice. You can live, and you will give me the names of everyone you work for. Or you can refuse, and this place will become your grave." Rax looked at Bran. But Bran shook his head. "She's not lying." For a long moment, the only sound was the hum of the hangar systems straining against the rising heat. Finally, Rax raised his hand slowly. "Fine. I will talk. Names," Vera said. Rax spoke quickly, listing 3 other buyers spread across different sectors, each one a powerful figure in their own territory. They had all offered payment for her capture. Vera memorized each name. "You will also give me your ship's codes," she said. Rax hesitated, then handed over a small data chip from his coat. "If I give you this, you leave. I leave." Vera said, "And you never come near me again." She took the chip, then turned to Bran. "You will take your men and go back to whatever work you did before this. If I see you again, you will regret it." Bran nodded quickly. "Understood." Milo followed Vera back to the ship. As they lifted off, the heat in the hangar faded. Rax and his men stood watching, but none dared raise a weapon. Once they were in space, Milo let out a breath he had been holding. That could have gone bad fast. "It is not finished," Vera said. "The buyers still live, and they will send others. But now we know their names, and we know where to find them." Milo glanced at the stars ahead. "So we're hunting them?" "Yes," Vera said. "One by one, until there is no one left who thinks they can own me." The ship's engines hummed steady as they left the asteroid field behind. Vera's tail glowed brighter, and for the first time, Milo thought he saw a faint smile on her face. The journey to the last buyer's location took 3 days through empty space. Vera stayed in the pilot's seat most of the time, scanning for traps. Milo worked quietly beside her, checking the data chip Rax had given them. "This last one," Milo said, pointing at the screen, "goes by the name Vorn. He's not just a buyer. He runs fleets. Whole planets pay him to keep their skies safe." "Safe from him," Vera said. "Exactly," Milo replied. "If we take him down, it's not just you he can't buy. It's everyone in his reach." Vera adjusted the ship's heading. "Then we make it count." They arrived in a sector lit by a red giant star. In the distance, a huge station floated. Above a ring planet, it was shaped like a wheel, with massive hangar doors along its rim. Ships came and went in an orderly line, traders, escorts, and heavy cargo haulers. Vera didn't slow down. She flew straight toward the station, ignoring the automated warnings. "They'll hail us soon." Milo warned. "They will speak to me," Vera said. A voice crackled over the comm. "Unidentified ship. You are approaching Vorn Station without clearance. State your purpose." "Tell Vorn Vera has come," she replied. There was silence. Then a different voice answered. "Dock in Bay 3. Alone." Vera looked at Milo. "They expect a trap. Then let's surprise them." Milo said. They landed smoothly. The bay was bright, with clean metal floors and a line of guards in dark armor. At the far end stood a broad man with a deep scar across his chin. His armor was polished black with a red crest on the chest plate. "Vera," he said, his voice loud in the wide space, "I hear you've been causing trouble for my business." "You tried to make me your property," Vera replied. "That was your first mistake." The man smiled faintly. "Not a mistake, just a price you didn't accept. I can still make the offer better." "There is no offer," Vera said. "You will end this, and you will release every deal you made to buy or capture people like me." Vorn's smile faded. "You walk in here alone and demand I destroy my empire? You think you can control me? I know I can," Vera said. Her tail flicked, and the air warmed instantly. The guards shifted, but held position. "You can burn this room," Vorn said. "But my fleets will keep coming." "You believe fleets mean power," Vera said. "But power is knowing when others fear you. I have taken that fear from your buyers. I have taken it from Rax, from Bran, from every name you trusted. They will not come when you call." Vorn stepped closer, his boots ringing on the metal floor. "You think their loyalty is all I have." Vera's voice stayed calm. "I think your control depends on others believing you cannot be touched. And now you see me standing here, untouched, in your own station." For a moment, neither moved. Then Vorn gave a short, sharp laugh. "You've got nerve. I respect that. I'm not here for respect." Vera said, "I'm here for an end." The heat in the room rose higher. Steam hissed from vents. Overhead, Vorn's guards began to sweat and shift uncomfortably. "You can kill me," Vorn said, "but it will change nothing." "Wrong," Vera said. "Killing you changes one thing. It tells everyone you are not in control anymore." She took one more step forward. The deck plates beneath her boots glowed faint orange. Vorn's eyes flicked down, then back up. Something in his gaze shifted, not fear, but a recognition that she truly meant what she said. "Fine," he said at last. "I will release the contracts, every name, every order. You will never hear from me or my buyers again. You will send the proof to every system you deal with," Vera added. "They will see your surrender." Vorn's jaw tightened, but he nodded. "It will be done." Vera's tail dimmed slightly as she turned away. She walked back toward her ship without looking over her shoulder. When she and Milo were airborne again, Milo leaned back in his seat. "That's it then? You believe he'll keep his word?" "He will," Vera said, "because the moment he breaks it, he knows I will return." They left the station behind, flying toward open space. Milo studied her quietly. "You know, back when we first met, I thought you were just running from danger. And now?" Vera asked. "Now I think you've been steering the danger the whole time," Milo said. Vera didn't answer. She only looked out at the stars, her tail glowing bright in the dark. Somewhere deep inside, she knew Milo was right. She had been hunted, trapped, and targeted. But in the end, she had chosen where the last battle happened. She had set the terms, and she had walked away. The buyers had believed they were in control. They weren't, she was. And as the ship slipped into faster than light travel, Vera decided she would keep it that way.